Today we'll be learning that Jesus forgives. Forgiveness means that if we make a bad decision, say we are mean to someone, Jesus keeps loving us.
Today we will hear about a woman who made a bad choice. She broke a rule. We all have rules to follow. We have rules so we can be safe. But sometimes there are rules that we don't like. Even rules we don't like can be good for us. That's why it's still good to follow them. But when we do break the rules, we know that Jesus loves us and we can ask Him to forgive us. He always will.
Jesus forgives everyone who asks. In our Bible story, we'll be talking about a woman who was caught doing something wrong. The punishment for what she did was to have rocks thrown at her.
I remember a time when I broke the rules. It was when I was a little girl, and I decided to eat ice cream for breakfast without telling my mom. And I got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I bet. What kind of punishment did you expect?
I expected to get, I don't even know. I thought I was going to get spanked. I thought I was going to be in so much trouble.
What really happened?
I wasn't in as much trouble as I thought I would be. She was mad. I got put in timeout for a little bit, but that was about it.
She forgave you, right?
Yes, she did.
Just like Jesus forgives. He forgives everyone, even if you make bad choices.
Now you guys know a little bit of how that woman felt. Only instead of getting grounded or sent to her room or put in timeout like me, she was going to have rocks thrown at her. The religious leaders who accused her decided to take her to Jesus to see what he thought her punishment should be. Jesus started drawing in the sand a little bit, and then he said, "All right."
How do you think the woman felt then?
She was probably really scared and confused and probably didn't know what was going to happen to her. But Jesus didn't stop there. In the Bible, it says, they kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." Then he stooped to the ground again and wrote in the dust. One by one, all the religious leaders left.
When everyone left, here's what happened. Then Jesus stood up again and said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." The woman said no. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." Even though Jesus had never sinned, he didn't throw stones at her. Jesus forgave her. And that's what we should do. They saw Jesus teaching and wanted to trap him. They didn't like Jesus. They were hoping that they could trick him and into saying something that wasn't what the Bible taught. Let's hear this story one more time. Thinking from the religious leaders' point of view. They saw Jesus teaching and wanted to trap him. They didn't like Jesus. They were hoping they could trick him into saying something that the Bible wasn't teaching. They were trying to trap him into saying something they could use against him. But Jesus stood down and wrote something in the sand.
So they brought this woman who had done some bad things to see if they could trap Jesus. You see, they knew Jesus often forgave people who did a lot of bad things because Jesus forgives. But the law about throwing the stones came right from the Old Testament, the older part of the Bible. When Jesus told them they could stone her, they were probably surprised. But then Jesus said something more. In the Bible, it says, they kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, "All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone."
They've all sinned.
Every one of them.
Well, except for Jesus.
Except Jesus.
Even though Jesus had never sinned, he still didn't throw a rock at that woman. How amazing is that?
Pretty
He
amazing.
forgave her. I mean, it's because Jesus forgives everyone.
Everyone.
Just as this woman they accused needed help and forgiveness, so did they. Jesus forgives, and they got to try forgiving too. Well, I guess that's the end, so bye.